I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Rio is pushing the ladies, pushing them real good because Boomer is back. So welcome to Book Club. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Annie's true love, Josh, or her GED. Plus, we've got Bad Cop Stan and Boomer's back. Plus, we have, of course, our segment, The Baddest Good Girls, news, shout-outs, and promo. So before we get started, I'm your host, Kelsey Hightower. I'm here with Amir, Yassai, Regina Cole. Hello, lovelies. And let's start us off with your favorite comedic moment.
Amir?
Yes, I will go first. Thanks, Regina. You look fabulous today. I love that side hair.
You too, darling.
Great.
I love the
Thank
bandana.
you. Thank you. I'm channeling Annie with like a little bandana and a hoodie. Yeah. So I'm channeling Annie.
All right.
And that was my favorite part of the episode, was actually related to Annie. It was when her son came to the doctor's office and kind of came, for the doctor and came to defend his mother. And I thought it was such a sweet moment. And it goes back to, again, Ben being like the parent and not the child. So I think it was such a great moment again. I loved it.
I love that moment too. That was so funny because I love seeing the role reversal of him, the adult. And it's so funny for him to be standing up for his mom. So amazing. Regina, do you have a favorite comedic moment?
Well, you know what? That was my favorite too, but then I have to have a soft spot in my heart because, I'm from Detroit. And so when Ruby and Stan were lying in bed and they were talking about their anniversary and Stan was telling her he was going to rent a Bentley with ostrich leather seats and cruise down Woodward Avenue. I don't think he said that, but the Townsend Hotel in Birmingham is, it's an amazing 5+ star hotel.
Ooh.
And that would definitely be a special evening for them. So that brought back so many memories for me. So I thought that was really great that they had that little moment where they both kind of escaped.
That is so sweet. It was very funny, but it was also such a sweet moment. I love that we get both of those emotions in just that simple scene. And then, it sounds like such a great hotel. Like we should go, we should all go quarantine there, right?
It's
yes,
awesome.
Let's quarantine in
But
Detroit.
Then, of course, she settled for what? A hot water heater. She told Stan, we have to both work, so we'll get the hot water heater.
Ladies, we should never settle, right? I mean, let's take the diamond. I don't care if it's stolen or not, but we're going to talk about that here in a second. Let's jump in. Let's start off with Annie. I also want to say that was one of my favorite moments is when Boomer was coming up in the sewage behind the girls. I love how there were so many moments where they did the foreground and the background humor. We see a lot of good editing tools and just the way that they really think through every scene. And I love seeing him covered in poop and grotesque tattoos. God. I laughed so hard at that moment seeing that. So speaking of Annie, let's talk about her real love. So we've got Josh, and we also have the motivation to get a GED. And Regina, you've been talking about this a lot throughout this season about how you think that Annie is probably not going to go through and be an EMT, and that it's maybe one of those phases or one of those projects that she's got for now. But do you think that do you still think that she's going to continue to get her GED even after everything happened with Josh, or do you think this might be the end of the road for her?
I think it's the end of the road.
I definitely say that, Regina. I don't want you to say that.
She's not. Did you not hear what Ben told Josh?
Yes, I was there. I heard it.
Hey,
but I don't want to believe it.
Let's face it. If she was serious about getting that GED to be, further her education to be an EMT, when she went to the office and she saw Josh's girlfriend, that wouldn't have thrown her. She would have stood up like a woman and said, well, here's my number, or let me have your number. And when can we start? And that would have blown Josh's mind, of course. I really don't think it's still over between them. I think we'll see a few more scenes with them. But definitely when we see her having that breakdown later, I think it's like in the wind, like Nana's, ashes.
No, I do not want to see that. I still have faith that
Poor
Annie
Nana.
could come through. Oh, speaking of Josh and his girlfriend, Amir, do we think that that's a real girlfriend? I mean, the way he's acting towards Annie does not feel like he has a girlfriend.
So I don't know anything about this particular character, but the actress played an amazing, very manipulative character on Californication for about 3 seasons. So that actress is really good at playing that innocent girl, kind of really tricky, so manipulative woman. So I hope she plays that character again and kind of messes with Annie. I think Annie, it's time for her to have a little consequences for her behavior. So I think that this woman might realize, listen, you're trying to get my man. Maybe she's going to start messing with Annie. I don't know. Something about her came off a little, I don't know, like, I don't think it was a really deep relationship, but it seems like she's going to kind of come for Annie, even though nothing's happened really. I just didn't get a good feeling from her. So we'll have to wait and see. But there were a lot of good random cameos this episode. We had a lot of new characters and I was here for it. So it was, I think that, I have to defend my girl, Annie. I know, Regina, you might be right in the scheme of things, but I still believe in her because I think she's here for Ben. And, I think that Ben is out there really defending his mom. And I think, I don't know, I feel like she's going to do it. She's going to at least take a CPR class, girl. Come on, Annie.
Well,
take a class.
I hope you're right. I do. Okay. For Ben's sake, especially.
Yes, I'm with you on that. I also think what you said about her being manipulative, a manipulative character. I did get some sort of vibe that she was she rubs me the wrong way a little bit. And I don't know if it's because she's manipulative, but it feels like she was kind of talking down to Annie, like she was one of her students. So I kind of got that type of vibe, but I don't know if she would manipulate Annie or anything like that, but I do feel what you're saying about that whole thing. So weird things happening. Can't quite put my finger on it, but we'll find out what's happening. I don't think
she's a girlfriend.
See, that's also what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that he's just like pretending or setting it up so that he can break off any feelings with Annie. Do you think that Josh has feelings for Annie, or do you think no?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. He definitely does. Gone
as far. I mean, he crossed the line to me with the pizza and the beer thing.
Yeah, that's true.
That was a line crossed. And also, I think that as far as like being a child psychologist and taking an older patient, I don't think you're legally allowed to do that either. I think he might. I don't know if he can do that as a therapist. I'm not quite sure, but I think that he's pushing a lot of boundaries, and people in the chat are kind of agreeing with us. And someone saying Dr. Cohen certainly got Ben's message loud and clear. I think he's hired her to play his girlfriend, says KLB, which is a really hot take. So we're thinking that girl might, maybe it's an old patient that like he kind of reconnected with and was like, can you something, I don't know. Like I don't know.
Or like the kid's mom, like a patient's mother or something that comes by.
It's definitely somebody he set up in that role. But if he was really strictly being professional with Annie and wanting to help her, I think he would have told Ben that right away. He would have just straightened Ben out. I'm not trying to take advantage of your mom. I appreciate you coming and letting me know. Right. But you have no worries. I'm strictly professional and I'm trying to help your mom. But of course, how could you say you're professional when you're having beer and pizza with your patient in your office at 10 o'clock at night?
Not okay. Not okay. Are there versions of therapy where sleeping with your, patient is encouraged? I don't think he's one of those therapists from the 1950s. So I think we can cross that off the list.
I know, but I am glad to see Ben called him out. So
Yes, yes.
on at least one of the things that he's doing. So
Yes.
good job to Ben. Another guy who might be crossing the line is Stan. Stan played the bad cop this episode. And we saw that when the cops were coming in to the club, he definitely talked down to the girls, but he did it because, you know, he was trying to protect them, and he was trying not to get caught. And I really saw him grow kind of as a character, because his little nervous leg twitch that we saw, you know, last season with when he was going under the lie detector test is completely gone. So this is a whole new Stan. He's very confident, not hesitant at all. And he's playing this like bad cop macho guy in front of the girls. So do you think that, you know, he's getting too close to the girls? Do you think he's too close to crime? What is this new character that Stan, do you think this is a new character that Stan is becoming, or do you think there's some like of the old Stan still hidden deep down inside?
I think it's he's seen the light. He crossed the line himself. And when he you know, lost his badge and he tried to do the cover up for Ruby, then he went back in, you know, he said that he didn't feel good and it was done. He couldn't make that wrong right. And so they're really like tight for money. And so he sees an opportunity with the girls to really make some big cash, some quick cash. But it comes with a price because it's really dangerous. And like I predicted last week, that Ruby would definitely not go for because she wouldn't want both parents living or leading a life of crime when they still have young children at home.
I think that she is mad because she doesn't want to feel guilty with him being in crime. Like, I feel like it puts the pressure off of her when he's good. She can look at their family unit and be like, okay, I'm doing something, you know, that's a little bit questionable, but Stan is so pure and so good that it makes like our family good. And now that Stan is part of the crime world and he's doing the same thing, it's like, it's almost like a mirror is being held up to Ruby saying, you're doing the exact same thing, but now you're not okay with it, you know? So,
right.
And so, I mean, in that sense, do you think that when he was giving her a stolen ring, do you think that she ruined the moment and should have just been accepting of that? Or do you think that she was actually standing up for morals? What did you feel in that moment?
That's a great question, Kels. I think what's important with that whole scenario is to understand where Ruby's coming from. So obviously her daughter, she's technically tainted her. She's become kind of a woman of crime and like stole the pen, whatever. And maybe in her head, she's thinking, well, I can keep my son Harry out of harm's way if my husband isn't into it. So now the daughter's understood kind of what she did wrong, but she's worried maybe Harry's going to look up to his dad and be like, look, my dad's, you know, making all this money. And then maybe finds out he stole stuff. And I think it's like you said, it's the way that he's doing it. He's like, hey, criminals, what's up? And they're like, you know, like he's trying to kind of make light of it. But it's like, I did feel for him really when he said, you're doing it. Why do I have to be perfect? Like, it's not fair, you know? So I understood that. I kind of sympathized with him.
Well, I think that she wants her to have her cake and eat it too, in the sense that it's okay for me to be the criminal. But if Stan is the good guy, the family guy, and he keeps that balance in the family, that kind of lets her off the hook for what she's doing. Because remember, when she turned the ring down, she said to him, this just doesn't feel right. Both of us can't be bad. And so I mean, when you got both parents involved in criminal enterprises, what does that say about having any type of normalcy in your family or sending the right type of family life, you know, with your kids, having that right type of family life?
Yeah, that's true. And I totally agree with that, honestly. Like, that's exactly what I'm thinking is she doesn't want both of them to be in the life of crime. And how are you
Right.
going to even explain that to your kids, as they get older,
How do
Oh,
you explain them?
mom,
You sit them down, mom's a
yeah,
criminal and now dad is too. Like,
yeah.
what are you
Your
supposed to
mom
do, you
shoots people definitely in the
Well,
foot, and your dad still with the ladies.
Sarah's already onto it, so
Oh, she is. She is.
she's already,
Yep.
knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
Right.
All
Yeah.
right,
She
Regina.
seems very aware, very aware. And it seems like people in the live chat, just real quick, I'm going to just give a quick, they're saying some funny things. So Micah Dawn said, I like good stands best too. And then Storm Within is saying Ruby needs to take a look in the mirror, which we
Mm.
100% agree. Go ahead,
Honestly,
Kels,
I
take it
think her
away.
mirror
Sorry.
is Stan. So she's looking at
Yeah,
it,
you're right. I agree with that.
Yes.
Very
Yeah.
true.
Well,
Very
thanks
true.
for reading the live chat.
Of course.
And
Of course.
Regina, do you want to shout out to our group?
Absolutely. So listen, guys, we want to just thank you all for tuning in and supporting us here at AfterBuzz TV. Everybody here is like on their A game, bringing you AfterBuzz TV fresh new content daily, remotely, guys. We are still rolling, and we thank everyone on our staff for doing that, but especially you for tuning in and giving us a 5-star rating on iTunes, and also going to YouTube and subscribing to our channels, giving us the thumbs up. And of course, we love your great comments and keep that live chat going. So thank you so much for supporting us here at AfterBuzz TV.
Yes, thank you so much. Now let's get into Boomer. He was heavy on this episode. I think with Boomer being back, it's not going to be for long because I think it was just a little one episode's, kind of like finish the deal, seal the deal here.
He's heavier now.
Yes. So I want to just say real quickly before we get into the story plot that first scene when we saw Boomer at the diner, that actually I recognize that's Frank's Diner in Burbank. I have been there before. So after we're allowed to leave the house, I would highly recommend going to Frank's Diner in Burbank. It's from the 50s. That's when it was built, and it still holds the same aesthetic. And you feel like you stepped into it. So that was a fun little nugget to know about the episode. So Boomer starts there, and we got to see him really his whole character, and we got some closure, I would say. But we haven't actually got to talk much about Boomer from the first season, and since he went to jail. So it's so great, the writing on this show, because I really wanted Boomer to die from the beginning. Like, he did some very awful things. So I have been ready for this moment for this whole time. But when it got up to the moment of him actually being dragged out of the van, and his fate, like Lucy's fate, into the next van, it really did not feel satisfying for me. I felt really sympathetic for him. And I honestly was like, this is such a kind of a sad way to see him go. I started off hating the character and wanting him dead. And then when I got what I wanted, it wasn't that satisfying. So can you guys speak to kind of, did you guys feel the same type of closure? Are you happy that we're gone? Thinking about all the bad things that he's done, especially to Annie. Are you happy about this ending? What do you think about the writing for this?
So before we jump in, I know that some people were confused online and on Twitter as well. So when I looked it up, so Pat, the woman with the children, right, that was going to be the CI against Boomer, ran him over with the car. And if you don't remember, she went back and his body was gone. So that was the whole kind of backstory with how Boomer came back. Because some people online were like, I thought he died. So I think the writing is so fabulous that they have weaved this all together from season 1. But I personally really felt for Boomer when he cried over his Nana. I got really emotional. I had such a close relationship with my grandma that also passed years ago. And it was just so sweet the way they weaved in they gave this criminal that we're supposed to hate layers. You know, a villain that has layers that you love to hate is such a good character. Even though when he got out of the van, he's like, I'm gonna go jack off. It's like he's just so awful, but you're just kind of rooting for him. I don't know why. And I couldn't quite figure it out. Did you guys feel that? Like you kind of, it seems like Kelsey did. Regina, what do you think?
I didn't root for him. He got what was coming to him. But what I don't understand is
Savage.
why
Regina has no mercy.
I think Regina is remembering the actual things that Boomer did, whereas we're going with the emotion.
I mean, why break him out of prison though?
Exactly.
That's
like such a great point.
You know, you could have just offed him in prison.
You could have offed him in prison. You could have just let him live out his sentence. I'm sure that it was not that short of a sentence. I'm sure he was in there for the long haul.
Yeah, he was also in the shoe as well. You know, he was in the shoe and he kind of alleged to be, you know, raped and there was a lot that he was going through. But I think that what we're missing here is that it was Rio's power play. It was not that he couldn't have had him killed or let him die in jail. Boomer doesn't matter to Rio. It's about making them go out of their way and be annoying and make them do an errand and be like, listen, who's in charge? I am. Like, don't think you're going to put on makeup and a cute dress and say you'll do anything. If you say you'll do anything, it's not going to be sex. It's going to be picking up Boomer covered in shit. So I think that like Rio knows what he's doing. It's a power play. It's a very smart power play.
Well, and I think to that point also, he was making a point to get rid of the rotten egg, because if we remember, he always brings back this whole rotten egg, and he told the girls to deal with it and they didn't deal with it. So they came back and now they're having to deal with it.
Exactly.
You know, I thought too that Beth this was really dangerous for them because they risked getting stopped by that state trooper at the checkpoint.
That was bad.
And remember, he looked in the back of the minivan.
Yes, I was holding my breath. I was like, come on, Annie, don't say anything. Don't say anything. She did great.
And my thought then was, Beth, you know, I know she's desperate to get rid of Rio and everything. Well, she had her plan put in place. And so as far as their plan goes, it was pretty much implemented. So, you know, he's giving them 12% over on the top to do the money and everything like that. But they still want to take him out. But I feel like they might not get a chance at the rate they're going, because now they're going to have even more troubles, because you saw at the end.
Absolutely.
What do you mean at the end? Oh, at the promo?
Yeah. So, no, was it the promo or the very end?
I think it was the promo. It was in the promo. Yeah.
But anyway, they're headed for really dark, you know, waters.
They really are. And they keep getting set up, and it seems like their emotions and being moms and really not criminals, it keeps getting in the way again but then it also saves them, because Beth was like, oh, you know, you hockey with my kid and blah, 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 blah. So it seems like they can always get out of it. But the problem I think I have is that they keep letting their emotions, like, why are you helping? Again, I get it. Me and Kelsey were feeling for Boomer, but why are you helping him so much? Like let's go to the nanas. And there were so many chances they could have gotten caught by the cops. And I'm like, if one person called, like, y'all would have been in trouble. So that's when I get frustrated. I'm like, you guys have to pick a lane. Like, you can't be heartless in one moment and then super emotional the next. Like, that's what I'm frustrated about.
Right. That's a great point, because they let their emotions lead them too much. Because he broke out of prison and they were told to take him to the Canadian border. And that's what she should have done, and dropped his butt off, you know, instead of risking going to the retirement home to find out that his nana was dead. And then he's having a hissy fit in the minivan about what to do with her ashes, you know. And that was so smart of Beth, what she did when she jumped out the car and said, I'm going to dump this in the trash.
That was savage.
It was.
You don't get your butt back in that bag in the back of that minivan. So,
yes,
but they
mode.
took a lot of risk in this
Too many
episode.
risks, way too
did.
many risks.
Well,
It's
and
very
speaking to
frustrating.
the emotional part of it, I think too, I see what you're saying with the frustration about going back and forth with emotions. Like 1 minute they're like this, 1 minute they're soft and, you know, sentimental. The other minute she's tough on Boomer and throwing the ashes in the garbage can. But I also see kind of a depth with Annie is very much an emotional wreck. And I feel that with some of those emotional moments, they come from her. And I think that it's a good reflection of the character because she's the one that was really rooting for them to go see Nana. And I think it's Beth who's kind of, we do see those moments where she goes back and forth and frustration, but I feel like it is, you know, in my opinion, I see the balance between them because Beth kind of stays to this tough exterior, and then we see like moments of compassion or whimsical moments from Annie. And I think that's kind of what is the pull and the conflict and the whole thing. So I feel like we'll still keep seeing those moments, unfortunately.
There's going to be those moments. Kels, I have a quick hot take from the live chat, which is a really good one. Micah Dawn is saying, don't forget Beth gave the traffic cop her real name, Bad Move, which is very true.
God.
Very true.
Full name too, not just
sure
Beth.
did.
It was Beth.
Full name.
Bolden.
Yeah.
What is her last name? Bolden.
And
Yes.
remember
the
Dorito?
thing about it,
Dorito Bolden.
is
bad move.
Rio took that bag. They took the bag with him in it, of course. So
yeah,
if they find that bag,
they know they can do the strings. Yep. And I feel like this is gonna come up a little bit in predictions, but before we get to that, kind of my last little moment that I want to talk about for me is Annie's just performance. You've been bringing up Nana and the ashes a lot, and I think that moment from Mae Whitman was incredible. Like one of my favorite performances from her all season. Like we see how upset she is and torn on the inside and how deeply she cared for Nana. And then there was still a funny moment when the wind was blowing in her direction and we got that little smile and laugh like, oh, you know, this would happen. And I just thought that was so incredible. So that was incredible. That was just like my last little thing that I have from this episode. Do you guys have anything else any other moment you want to add before we jump into our segment?
Well, I do want to just say, with Annie, when she went to the lake with the ashes, I think a lot of it, she was so emotional too. Thinking about that whole situation with Josh, I think that might have been part of her emotion when she went to, you know, dispose of the ashes.
That could be it too. It was very emotional for her, this whole episode.
Yeah. But then again, here we go. This is Rio, the second person. He's killed.
Yes, we're seeing a lot of that this season. We're seeing more of him killing people and getting onto business than we have in any of the other season. It's a very much like business and taking care of the rotten eggs, like being a gang member.
Yeah, zero BS. He might be a gorgeous gang member, but he's still a gang member. We have to remember that.
It's like the reminder this season, I think.
Yeah,
he's still got ice in his veins, right?
Yes, absolutely. And before we move on, can I talk about a quick scene that I really liked?
Yes.
I really liked when I kind of saw Stan turn into kind of that bad guy, where he was being so arrogant with that cop. He knew, he was like, "Bring your buddies." I'm like, you're now dangling the fruit in front of everyone, and just that it was like weird because it kind of turned me on that he was like so in charge, but I was also like, this is not right. Like, this is not right. This is not going to end well. Like, you should do your crime in private. You don't need to be so bold. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there.
Well, he showed a really tough exterior with the girls too. It's like, you know, cursing them out and pretty much putting them in their place like he was the Mac Daddy. So yeah, he's definitely changing and taking on a different persona.
Absolutely.
As a gangster.
I know. So yes, so the guys are changing a lot this episode, but let's go ahead and jump into our segment with the baddest good girls and see how our girls are doing. So as we know, if you have your favorite good girl, baddest good girl, then you can drop that down into the comments or you can put it into the chat and Amir will be reading that out.
Yes, I will.
But as we do every week, we talk about who your favorite baddest good girl is, who stepped up to the plate, who was real boss, who just really overcome something or anything like that. So let's go ahead and start with Regina.
Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
I think the baddest good girl, good guy was definitely Ben, because
Okay.
he really, just told his mother, put his mother in her place pretty much, questioning her about going to the therapist and reminding her the last time she had a study session, it was a result of him being born. And so for him to go and straighten out Josh the way he did, it took a lot of guts, but also a lot of love for his mom to not want to have to see her go through that dark time again that he was, where she's just like a manic depressive.
That was so well put. Like that,
yeah.
I totally see that from this episode. He's so compassionate, so loving, and also so independent and so mature. That describes perfectly. Yeah, that was a great pick. Amir, do you have somebody?
I do. So mine's going to be a little unconventional, but I really liked. I think it's someone that hasn't gotten enough credit throughout this season. Is the child that sits in the waiting room and interacts with Annie every time she goes to her session. He is funny. He is dynamic. He cracks me up. He reminds me of one of the kids from Parenthood. He has such a great energy. He's like, oh yeah, that t-shirt's not going to make you feel good. He has a girlfriend. Like, that kid is smart and is there and has a little quip. So in my opinion, he is the baddest good boy of the episode.
All right. Two guys, I'll take it. That's all right. Okay, for me, I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to stick with one of the trios. I'm going to stick with Annie for this episode. Like I mentioned, I truly fell in love with that scene where she was fulfilling Nana's final wish, which was to be her ashes to be dumped by the lake. And I thought that she really stood up for Boomer, whether it was right or whether it was wrong. She really was compassionate enough to stop at the nursing home and to persuade Beth to do so, because she knew what his fate was, and she cared so much for Nana that she persuaded Beth to do that, and then she got the ashes and she fulfilled that. So that's why I'm going with Annie. So I just really was moved by her performance and her during this episode. Do we have anybody in the live chat?
Yes, we do. I thought you'd never ask. Okay. So Micah Dawn is saying Nana for blowing her ashes up Annie's nose. That's a good one. That's funny. Micah Dawn is also saying, okay, never mind. That's her again, saying Nana was the baddest good girl. And then Vic Contreras says, I'm giving it to Beth. She met up with Rio and tried to make it right, and now they are. She just needs to stop trying to kill him, LOL. I agree. Samantha Weigel's agreeing with you, Kel, saying Annie because she made sure that Nana's last wishes were met. And then KLB is also saying Beth. She's determined to get her ottoman back. She has made a plan to hire a hitman to get Rio. And we saw that in the preview, talking about Facebook and finding a hitman. So we'll have to see if they actually do it. It's going to be another crazy character to the mix. So we'll have to see.
I'm excited. to find out. All right. Well, great girls this episode. I'll tell you that. It was a good one. Let's go ahead and jump into some news.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Yes. So we got some great news. I am going to, the first thing I want to jump off. So I don't know, you had to be really watching very carefully to catch this scene. But when all the girls were with Crystal and then that blonde girl, they were in the room when Stan was becoming the bad cop before our eyes. If you didn't look carefully enough, you would have missed Megan Thee Stallion, the rapper. I saw her right away. I was like, is that Megan Thee Stallion? And I was Googling away. And yes, it was. So I don't know if you don't know who Megan Thee Stallion is, you must be living under a rock because she had Hot Girl Summer. She's gone off on TikTok. She has her whole super sassy ratchet dance move on TikTok. So she's a big, huge rapper, and her character is Onyx. So it's going to be it's going to be more in the next, in this season and the rest of the episodes. She describes her character as super sassy, and she's a little rule breaker. She's doing things she has no business doing. So I feel like this character is going to get in some hot water. I'm waiting to see Stan at one of these parties. I really want to see how it's all going to come together. And she also went on to say, I feel like Good Girls is perfect for me because I'm the hot girl. And why would you not have the hot girl on Good Girls? Yes, Megan Thee Stallion. Giving
That
you
is
the dog.
great. Okay,
I
she was
feel
and she
like-
was in the scene at the club in the room,
Yeah.
right? Did
Yes,
she?
yes.
She didn't say anything this episode, right? Or
She
did
didn't
she?
say anything. She just
Okay.
made a lot of faces, and I was like, she was giving me good face, and I was here for it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll have to, but she is promising that she was going to be in the rest of the season. And so that was a
Amazing.
great article on shadowandact.com if you guys want to go check it out, and you can read further about that. And I think she's going to be great in dynamics. So I'm looking forward to it. And then also there was, I know a lot of people were asking in the live chat for the last couple of episodes. I just wanted to make it clear, this season's going to end May 3rd. And then they're going to basically take a couple of episodes from this season that they've already shot and use it to launch season 4, because obviously because of Corona, production is shut down. All NBC shows will end around that May timeline. So yeah, and if you want to check it out more, you can just go to nbc.com and they'll tell you every show and what date the finales are now going to wrap.
Well, I'm excited. I mean, I'm not excited for it to end, but I am excited to see how
Yeah.
they're going to do the ending because I
Right.
feel like that's going to change a lot of what they had planned.
Mhm.
So I'll be excited to be on the lookout for how they're
I
going to
know.
adjust the ending.
We'll have to wait and
Yeah.
see. Do you think there's going to be a cliffhanger? Because if they've shot it in a chronological way, it's going to be weird for it to end before. So we'll have to, I don't know. I'm excited. We'll see.
It's
But
going
they
to be interesting.
they never let us down. So
They
I'm
never
not
do.
worried.
All right. Well, thanks, Amir,
Of
for the
course.
news.
That was great.
Let's jump into what you guys are saying. Regina, you have some shout outs from last week.
Yeah.
Definitely have some shout outs from last week. And this one is from Michael B. It says, great book club, guys. Okay, the episode was funny. I don't know who wrote it, but they should give him or her a raise. I have to say that I'm feeling sorry for Ruby because she's seeing that her actions are changing her family. Stan is getting gangster, which I love. You think he'll down the line? You think he'll, down the line, will take out Rio and the girls. And so moving on, that was from Michael B. Next one is
Ooh.
Rainy J. I don't trust Max either. The board was creepy. Agreed that they are now having Ruby and Stan, like Beth and Dean, with Sadie and Annie will be next. Sadie is already the logical one, so she might have to do something with her mom to get them out of a mess. And then the last one is from the girl next door. My baddest good girl is and always will be Beth. I love her so much and I am rooting for her so hard. I'll never root for Dean. He's forever on my SHIT list. He can sexually assault women after women, but the second he stands up for himself and gets assaulted himself, we want to praise him. Yeah, I'm not falling for it. And that was the girl next door. So that was our shout outs. Keep them coming, guys, for next week.
Wow.
Yes,
Honestly,
that
I
was
love
great.
hearing the names too. Everybody's little
Yeah.
name. That is amazing.
Creative.
I did look it up for who wrote the episode. And there were 3, I think, women who did. Jenna Vance, who is the show creator. Helen Childress, who also wrote the episode Egg Roll, which was one of the earlier
that was
episodes.
a great episode.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And Esther Lou Withers, who wrote 8 episodes this season. She's kind of the person who looks over or is not really the showrunner, but also has their hand in many of the
like
episodes.
a
So that kind of
producer
type thing. Yes. So those are the trio who wrote that last episode, for all of you who are wanting to know. And then, yeah, I mean, that was a strong comment from the girl next door. I mean, we talked a lot last week about Dean and how the role reversal was there, where we saw his supervisor coming onto him. But yes, it is a good reminder to remember that Dean has also been on the other side of that too. So great points, and keep leaving your comments so we can talk about them next week. Speaking of next week, let's jump into our predictions.
Let's do it. I have some hot takes thanks to Micah Dawn. I was thinking this. I swear, cross my heart, hope to die. Micah Dawn, I promise the minute I saw Megan Thee Stallion, I was thinking
hold on. Are you about
cop.
to give a prediction?
Yeah.
Okay, before you do, I'm going to do the promo.
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, let's do the promo. I'm sorry.
I
got
that
excited.
way we can get everybody.
I
know, you're so excited about next week. Okay, promo. This is what we saw, just so everybody can be thinking, and then you can jump back into your thought, Amir. So we saw Rio has another job for the ladies, and he brings them the gun. We also saw that the ladies are back at work with the money, and we hear them say, we have to hire a hitman now. So those are the three little nuggets we got. Okay, now press play on Amir. You were saying.
Thanks, Kel. Sorry about that. And just to make clear, we won't have an episode next week because of Easter. So it's going to go to April 19th because people are asking in the live chat. I want to make sure you don't come here, and we're not here to keep you company.
Yeah.
The hot take is thanks to Micah Dawn. I swear, I was thinking the same thing, that the minute I saw Megan Thee Stallion, I had a feeling she was undercover cop or agent. So I think that, I think there's something going on. And even having that cop come in, that was a whole setup to really prove that they're not undercover or anything. Because remember, Stan is thinking like a cop. So they really have to throw him off that scent. So I think that's my prediction. And I don't think that Boomer is gone. So I think Boomer is coming back. I don't think Boomer is gone because there's no reason other than as a power play to get him. I think he's going to use Boomer to mess with them because you saw how it made them so discombobulated when he was around. So I think Rio knows that, and he knows that at any time he could bring up this person and be like, this guy will talk to the cops and y'all will be screwed. So you better stay in line. So I think, and where is Rhea? I need to know where Rhea is. I have made so many predictions.
She'll be back.
She needs to come back. She needs to come back.
I don't think she's coming back. If she comes back, it'll be maybe the last episode. I mean, what do we need her for now, unless it's some, like you said,
right?
She's involved with some kind of deal.
Regina, you always dagger in my heart. I need Rhea to come back.
I
know you have been predicting that every week. Okay, so Regina, don't think that Rhea is coming back. What do you think is going to happen?
I think that Stan and Ruby, their marriage is about to go through some serious turbulence.
You're breaking my heart again.
Stan is turning into we're going to see such a dark side to him now. And I think he's going to really get into that life of crime because that money is starting to feel good to him, having that money, and also that power over the girls. But I also think that Amir, you're on to something. I think there's going to be somebody that is undercover somewhere. It's going to be a sting operation going on that they know nothing about. It's really getting ready to get really seriously dangerous.
It is. So, and Kels, we also didn't talk about that in the promo. We have a new character, that a female cop who says, oh, there was a nail polish remover in the making of the money. It must be a woman. So
that was at the very end of that episode. Yes. And I think that you are right that I think we're going to see, well, we talked about this in one of your news segments about her coming in. And I think we're going to see a lot more of her in the next few episodes. And it's going to take an interesting turn because she's a female FBI agent or cop, and I think she's going to
Mhm.
be thinking more like the ladies, and I think that
Mhm.
is where it's going to catch them. You guys had
Absolutely.
some great predictions, by the way, and I don't know what else I can really add other than yes, we'll be seeing more of the cops playing out either in the club or just tracking down that counterfeit money, because they were able to do that
Mhm.
before when the girls were shopping, and I think they'll be able to do it again.
Mhm.
So we'll be seeing more of that, and then I don't know. You guys kind of covered my basis there. So I think we've got some great episodes here in the last, few what we've got left of the season. So
Mhm.
Yeah. Mhm.
it's gonna get more exciting and dramatic. And with Rio and the
Yeah.
gang, I mean, he means business. He's not the
Mhm.
romantic that we've seen in the last couple seasons. So I think that
It's
there's
coming.
gonna be maybe, but I mean, yeah, he's got some real stuff to prove with the girls. So we'll be seeing.
Brio needs to come back. Everyone in the chat wants Brio. We are tired of
They're
waiting. We
gonna give
need
it
some
to
Brio.
us.
We
Be
need some bathroom
patient.
action.
Be
How
Come
long do we all have
on!
to wait?
I am not patient.
How long do we all have to wait?
Good
We're not
things come to
patient. We're in
those who wait.
quarantine.
I guess. All right. Well, speaking of waiting,
Oh, come
like
on.
Amir
That's
said,
funny.
we are not
Yes.
here next week, so we'll have to wait
No.
till the following for our
Yeah.
next
Yes.
Good Girls. But we will be right back here, same time, same place after Easter. So before we go, where can everybody find you, Regina?
Hi guys, you can find me on Instagram at Regina Coles or Twitter at Regina Rico, RECO. Have a happy and safe Easter and stay in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And Amir?
Yes, you can find. I second that. Stay in. Happy Easter. You can find me at Amir Yass, YASS, AMIRYASS _ on Instagram and Twitter, and also as well on TikTok. Thank you.
Thanks,
Mwah.
guys. And I'm Kelsey
Sure.
Hightower, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Kels Hightower. And we will see you back here April 20th. Be safe. Binge watch some more AfterBuzz TV, and we will see you then. Bye, book club.
Mwah.
Bye guys, happy Easter.
Bye. Be
Our
safe.
founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.